Hi everyone, I'm Saskia, Community Manager here at Iceberg Interactive, and today I am joined by Nemo Ghasemi. He is the composer for the Sojourn, and we are really excited for him to be here today because we're going to talk about the amazing work he's done on the Sojourn. He did the music, he did the sound effects, and we thought it would be really cool to jump into the game with him, explore some of the areas, and talk about the work he's done on the project. So without further ado, let's jump in. So here we are at the beginning of the Sojourn, and we can already hear the atmospheric music. So Nemo, I would like to start. How did you get involved with the project of the Sojourn?
I just received a call from developers, and they were the ones that a time before that I reached out to them for another project, but I didn't know that they're starting a new project. So I received a call and we just set a meeting and they presented the game and I really loved it. At that time, one chapter was ready already and I saw the environments and everything and I just loved the game and that's how it started basically.
So they already had a general idea of the atmosphere and the different chapters
exactly.
And you could work with that.
Exactly.
That's great. And how did you do that? Like, did you already have some gameplay, or was it just a concept art that you could work from? Like, how did that go?
The first challenge was, just setting the basic things, such as choosing the main instruments and, main themes and everything. After we agreed upon those things, I just started to run the game, started playing, and everything was just keep coming. And that was really interesting and I really enjoyed it. I immediately connected with the game and with the story and everything because this story is kind of like, it could be anyone's story. So you could easily fit in and, and that was the most enjoyable time for me. I used to play it and simultaneously I wrote.
Oh really? Melodies. So you were actually playing the instruments while...
Yeah.
Wow,
exactly.
That must have been interesting to work that way.
Yeah.
So now we can already hear, I think this is a harp?
Yeah, it's the harp because, all the bright things and the sharp atmosphere and everything, I just kept hearing a sharp sound like, harp. And when I used it, it was just, it fits.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah. Now already we're here. So you had to actually pick the main instruments that you were going to use throughout the whole game, or was it more like the main instruments per chapter?
First we chose main instruments for the whole game and for the whole theme of the game, the main theme of the game. And then we played it a little bit in between in different chapters and gave it a little variety of instruments. And that's it.
It's beautiful. Let's circle around this statue a bit and just listen, because this is really beautiful. The sound of the water as well. Yeah, you just kind of want to stay here forever if you hear this. Yeah, amazing. And so effects like water and stuff, how did you do that?
Sorry.
How did you do the effects for the water and all that? Is that also something you do in the studio?
Yeah, I've got a huge bank of recorded sounds, which mainly I recorded myself when I go and to nature and everywhere that I could pick any sound. I just start recording. So there are a mixture of some of my recorded sounds plus some freshly recorded sounds as well, yeah.
And how do you make sure that everything fits together like this? Because it feels like it's all very much in harmony, like the water and the music. Like I can imagine that sometimes it must be challenging to add all these sound effects together and it's not too much.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the main challenge actually. The beauty of this is that you have to make your own sonic world inside the game. It has to be realistic, but not that much realistic. It can be creative sometimes, but it should be in a way that player could easily immerse into the game. So it should not be too noisy. It should not be annoying. It should not be boring. Yeah, it's a tough challenge. You have to test it again and again. You have your own ideas at first, but some of them may not come out very well. But you have to test them, and then after a while you come to the best
must be a lot of
choices.
tweaking, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
So now we stepped into the dark world, and you can already notice that immediately the music kind of stops, or is it more muted, or how does that work?
It's actually filtered very much because we needed to demonstrate how a major change is going to happen here. Yeah. And you're going to sink into other world. So we needed to make the environments in a way that's a little bit vague and maybe scary.
Because you can also feel like some type of I don't know, because I'm not a composer, but I think it feels a little bit like bassy noises, like very low and like a low roaring sound almost. Yeah,
because we needed to give the feeling that you are in the dark world. Actually.
Yeah.
It's not bright anymore.
No,
it's all dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what the
and then it immediately returns again.
Yeah.
So do you play all these instruments yourself, or do you have people helping you?
But actually both. I use mostly sampled instruments, and mostly sampled by myself, and also sampled some instruments by colleagues and some instrumentalists. And some of them are recorded live.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah, you hear a lot that a lot of composers, they have so many, like they have a library of a lot of sounds, and you have to be really creative and versatile to do this job, I think.
Yeah, exactly. One of the beautiful challenges here is to make your own sounds, because since I'm designing the SFX as well, so I need all the sounds to be connected to each other, complete each other, and not to be so far from each other. Yeah. So I tend to design my own instruments as well, maybe, and sometimes I synthesize some sounds. And when I sample the instruments, I try to add some spices myself,
which is always good.
Maybe, and maybe some. I sometimes build some soundscapes out of some musical notes, some simple notes, and I stretch them and make some environments or atmosphere or ambient sounds.
Yeah, because sometimes from something so silly you can make this really beautiful thing. I mean, I've seen quite a lot of documentaries on sound effects in games, and I know that for certain violent games they use like vegetables for bones cracking and like a watermelon for bloody things. And is there something that you've used in this game that you would think, oh, that's nobody's gonna guess that I use this and it might be funny or unusual?
Yes.
Were there vegetables involved?
No, not vegetables, but something that I may recall now is for sorry.
No, I can't find the words all the time. You just think about it. A certain effect somewhere, I'd say.
Yeah, some rotatings in the game.
Oh yeah.
Some rotatings. I try to play with the sounds of chains.
Oh really?
And all of the rotatings are produced from chains. Yeah.
Chains. Well, they do give the nice tingly noises, right?
Yeah, exactly. And for the transportations, I used about 13 layers of impacts, all recorded by myself. Including door slamming and everything.
So is that also the swapping noise from the
exactly. This is the sound. Scrapings and everything.
Because you also there's a lot of moments in the game where the world kind of builds itself up with all these stones and stuff. how did you do that? Because that sounds really satisfying. There's a lot of people that were looking at that and they said it's so satisfying when the world builds itself up and like the noise of it is so nice.
Actually, it's a mixture of soil and sand with some bricks and
so it's actually
stones.
this.
Exactly.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And there are also too many layers mixed with each other.
Right.
So it's not one single layer. Yeah.
And what do you think makes a good sound effect? Like, what are the core values you have when you work on these things?
Yeah, I think the main thing that can judge if it's a good sound effect or not is that when you play and you hear it. For example, when you just do this swapping thing, when you press the button and you hear the sound, how do you feel? Do you feel rewarded, or do you feel that it's actually happening?
Yeah.
Or it's the most thing. It should impress you. It should have impact on you. So that's my main way of measuring if it's good or not. I try to test it several times, maybe sometimes more than 10 or 20
well, it's good to be sure at least.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. Well, it's definitely nice to ask you all these things because I don't think most of us think about these things so much, and it's really cool to know what's behind it and how that works.
Actually, before this, I used to work in the short movies and more linear type of mediums, but actually this interactive medium and non-linear work is so much more attractive because you have to consider more aspects, such as when something happens in the game, it should change in a way that it feels normal. It's quite a challenge. The other one is that you should use variety of sounds. And sorry,
I'm just stopping because it's so beautiful, the music right now, and I just don't want us to go too fast because right now it's. Would you say that it's it keeps changing whenever you walk somewhere? Like, is it programmed in a way that it kind of evolves and goes back and forth a little bit? And
actually, it's
this area, right? I noticed that. That's why I wanted to go back because right now, like, if we just take a moment again to listen. It's definitely an important scene.
Yeah, exactly. It's telling a story, so we need to hear some theme and
it's amazing how sound works, that it has such an impact when you enter a scene. It would not make as much impact without it, or if it wasn't designed well. And I think it's really, really well done. Like, I get goosebumps when I hear it. I love it. I'm very sensitive to sound, so these things I can really appreciate it when it's done really well. And
we did really so many back and forth for this particular part. So we really wanted to be, expressive.
I think you succeeded.
Thank you.
Did you have any inspirations for this? Is there stuff that you can think back on, like, well, this is something that I got a lot of inspiration out of because it was doing similar things, or I'm curious about that.
Actually, I really like atmospheric music and also ambient music. So I was really inspired by some video games as well, such as The Journey. And I really love the soundtrack, OST and everything. But also there are so many other games, such as Nier Automata. And,
I love that. That was my favorite thing about that game. The soundtrack is amazing.
The soundtrack is really amazing, and all the creative things that the composer have done in the game.
That also kept changing. I feel like they did a very similar thing.
So those inspired me a lot, and I tried my best to give a really close feeling to the game environment.
And so this is the first chapter. So is there certain emotions you wanted to give off with the soundtrack for this area? Because Sojourn has 4 chapters, and each chapter has its own identity. What would be the thing you wanted to achieve here with the sound of it?
Yeah, I needed to be simple here because it's a beginning. Wow!
But even that sound effect is very strong.
Yeah, it's another sound effect that we really debated on it, and we really did so much back and forth. We just wanted to, present a kind of atmosphere that impress something that is so simple and it's not so complicated, but it's still joyful. You're playing around, you're just figuring out what's happening, and you have no idea what's going to happen after that. So
it's tied in with the story, of course, with
exactly.
the Sojourn is all about the journey through life, and this is the first one, so you're really discovering things, and things are new, and the players are, of course, also discovering the game. I think it might be a good idea to move on to the next chapter and see what we can find there. So the Sojourn, it has 4 chapters, and each one of them has their own identity, their own music. What would you say is the biggest difference between the first chapter and the second one?
The main difference was that the main idea was that it changes when you pass that phase, that everything is sweet and beautiful and unknown. You step into another chapter that it's a little bit heavier. You have to face some much more serious stuff. So we chose a little bit more dense melodies, maybe, or a little bit more serious melodies, not that much so sweet. But still the color is sharp, because the environment is still sharp, and you go through so many puzzles, and you have to, it's a kind of a library or something. So
it looks like it. Actually, I've seen loads of screenshots. Let's listen for a bit, so immediately it starts as well. Definitely a little more serious here. And also a little bit ominous. Yeah,
exactly. That you have to discover the unknown, and you have to maybe
learn.
Yes, that's the word I was looking for.
And so also again these subtle sounds of water. So that's
the main challenge here was that it shouldn't be too noisy, and also at the same time it shouldn't be too dull, but it should be relaxing. Because it's a moment of realization and learning and everything.
It definitely sets a different tone compared to the first one. I do see that now. I think that I was curious about, we passed the harp statue on our way in. And I know that the harp statue, it plays a melody for a certain amount of time. And then you can pass this bridge.
Exactly.
I was wondering, because there it is. So I was wondering, how was that done between you and the developers? Because it plays for a certain amount of time, so you need to record that time. It is very much connected to the gameplay, because it changed everything, like how long that plays. How did that go? I simply received a solid duration of how much should it be lengthwise. So I started writing different types of melodies, and the main thing I tried to do is that I tried to keep it in harmony with the music. Because that must be hard. If it's playing music and then the harp plays through it could become this really disruptive sound.
And we just tried so many different melodies, and we just agreed upon this one.
And how did that go, the communication between you and the development team?
It was really great. They were really passionate about the game, and I really liked that. And the first thing I really tried to keep up with it was a beautiful art style. So I was a little bit stressed about keeping
Can
up
you
with
keep
yes, and be a good company for the visuals. So they're really passionate about what they're doing. They really liked what they're doing. So we were both on the same page on this one.
That's great.
Because I really liked the project as well.
So had some kind of creative synergy there.
Exactly, yeah.
That's great when that happens.
It was like a very beautiful cooperation, yeah.
So how long did you work on like a chapter, would you say? How long does it take you to come up with this and create everything?
It was different from chapter to chapter. Some chapters, like the first chapter, it was really, really fast because it was right there, and I was even amazed about that because
like
it
one of the
really
fast ones.
just came, and I just wrote the melodies and I played it, and I just saw that it fits really good, and so as a team. But some chapters we had so many
back and forth, probably.
So many back and forths. We had so many differences of opinion.
Yeah.
But it was really different. Also, chapter 3 was very fast because I liked it a lot, and yeah.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get into that one soon. Would you say that maybe the difference of opinion sometimes would be the biggest challenge on the project, or would you say something else was more challenging when you were working on this?
No, actually, sometimes we learn from each other actually, and on this, sometimes I chose something that it was not right, but the team would notice that and would tell me, and I really appreciated that. And it was really. I cannot find the words.
It's like maybe just a really good cooperation that way.
Yeah,
that you learn from each other.
It was really constructive.
Constructive, right.
So it was really joyful. I really enjoyed working with them because I'm really I'm a little bit obsessed with the quality and everything should sound right, and they have the same amount of obsession, and so
that can either be really
totally
good or challenging,
good,
or both.
Yeah, they really understood when I told them I need to work on this more.
Yeah.
They weren't just like, no, leave it, we'll get back to it later.
Yeah, exactly. That's
really
good. So they gave you the right amount of time
exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, this chapter really feels like you're more on your own feet here, and stuff looks a little less protective, if that's the right word. Like, I think in the other chapter you could see some houses and it was all a little bit more homey, where here it really feels like you're on your own path now.
Exactly.
You need to find your way.
Exactly. You're starting.
Yeah, you're really starting.
Get on your feet.
I love this library. It's beautiful. From like the shiny parts on the floor. It's amazing. So this is really probably the main theme of the chapter. Exactly, yeah.
We have a main theme for each chapter, and there are so many variations of that theme inside the gameplay in different puzzles.
Yeah, it's really nice. I'm very curious about the next one now.
Yeah.
So that might be your favorite one, right?
Yeah, I really like that chapter. Yeah. I lived that chapter actually. Yeah.
Well, I think we're ready to
exactly.
dive into the third chapter here. So right now we're going into the third chapter that we're going to show today, and also the final one. Of course, there's a fourth chapter, but we're gonna leave that to the imagination for now. So this third chapter is your favorite one, right?
Yes, exactly.
That's great. So we're gonna jump into that and just see what your personal experience was with that, and also why this is your favorite one, because I would like to know.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Yeah.
Some of you might know this scene from the trailer. It's the beautiful, I would almost say, ethereal tree.
Yeah.
It's still pretty quiet here as well.
Yeah. It's the ambient noise of just water.
Water. I feel like this is an important moment where you.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
we just
yeah.
needed to, prepare for a, epic loading. Not that much epic, but
Yeah.
the sound to be particularly heard.
Yeah.
So here is a very beautiful environment. I like it very much.
Oh. It's a transition.
Yeah.
Feels very underwater.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
wow. So it feels almost like as if we're in an area that used to be flooded with water.
Yes, exactly. So there are so many gates here. And,
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah, it's
The snowy area. Oh, that's beautiful.
it's really beautiful.
And this is probably the first time, and I could be wrong, but this is the first time I'm hearing birds in the game. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. Try to keep it minimal, but
Oh, there we go.
yeah, it's
So
a
cool.
extra sound here because of this extra device.
Yeah, so it's actually a portal that
Yeah.
sends you back and forth. Oh, so let's take a look at this beautiful snowy and just listen for a bit. I love the little snowmen everywhere.
Yeah.
They're very adorable. This is absolutely magical. So, tell me about
Yeah.
the chapter. Why is it your favorite? And
Actually, the period of time which I was working on this chapter, it was actually the time it was winter, and I was experiencing a hard time. So since I really love these types of music, this type of a little bit cold ambient music, and
violence. I think is it violence that we're hearing right now?
yeah, it's fine.
It's
the
beautiful.
first time, yeah.
It really sets a different tone immediately.
Exactly,
This instrument.
Yeah. It sets the mood and the contrast between the previous levels. And I just when I was working on this level, I was actually, composing music, and it was actually going on in my life. So it was really close to the game environment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It must have
I
been
took
very
advantage.
personal then. That really.
Yes, exactly.
Really put your heart and soul into.
Yeah,
this.
exactly. And I took advantage of that. So yeah.
Yeah, it works well with artists like that. Yeah.
And also the environment really inspired me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little bit more rough here in the dark world.
Yeah, you can feel it. Yeah, it's not the same as in the first chapter. It's definitely more. Yeah, I keep saying ominous because it's just the perfect
Yeah.
word for it, and I love that word. So yeah, and then this. So that should be like some type of ice, I think, or
Yeah.
it could also be, well, not seaweed, but like these. Things that grow in the water.
Yeah, it's something. Sorry. Yeah, it's like seaweed, but it's more like roots or something. Yeah.
Yeah, or like ice veins,
Yeah.
or it could be multiple things. I guess that's open for the player to interpret it.
Exactly.
Just as many things in this game, it's a very personal journey as well. I like it that it feels more emotional, but then it also has these snowmen and houses, and it
Yes.
could also be like a Christmas card.
Exactly. Yeah. That was what I said. What I told the developer thing at the beginning.
Oh, really? Yeah.
It is sad, but at the same time, it
Sometimes
feels like
sad
Christmas,
can feel so nice. Like the sadder, the better. It's so beautiful. And the harp is still not disrupting the atmosphere. So that's you've done a really good job on that one.
Thank you.
So yeah, we're not gonna really show the fourth chapter because we want to keep something special for when the game is out today and when people can actually play it for themselves.
Yeah, sure.
Is there something that you would like to tell us about the fourth chapter? What can people expect, just a little bit as a teaser?
Yeah, again, it's different from the other chapters.
It's very different, yes.
It's very different, and the contrast is much more. So I think they're definitely going to be surprised, and I really liked it. You know, I liked it the first moment that I entered the fourth chapter. I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
That is something that I didn't expect.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm really curious on how people are going to experience the game. And
Me too. I can't wait to hear the feedbacks and everything.
Yeah.
I'm just really curious about how the people feel while they're playing the game, because it's really important. Yeah.
Yes. What did you think now that everything has come together? What do you think of the finished project? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, it was a really great experience. It was really, sorry, can I start again?
Of course.
It was a really great experience. I learned so much, and I even enjoyed it very much, because as I told you before, it's this kind of story that you can easily fit in. It's the Sojourn. It's the story of your life. It can be anybody's life. So it seems like that you're playing yourself, and for me it was the same. Even when I was just composing or designing anything, the other thing. So it was really joyful for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great, that's amazing. Is there anything, and this is always the cliche question, but is there anything you would like to tell the people that are about to play this? Like, is there something you would want to say to them, maybe? Or ask them? Could be.
Yeah. Can I think about this question?
Yes, of course, yes.
Yeah,
no worries. We're just gonna walk a little bit through this third chapter.
Yeah.
And you don't have to. I mean, it's always just something.
It's more like when you want to play this game, it's a bit kind of meditation. You can easily put all your stressful mind away aside and just start to walk in a new world. And I think that everyone's gonna enjoy it a lot, because it gives you a little space of your own that you can go roam anywhere you want, and you can challenge your brain a little, enjoy the atmosphere. So I don't know if I answered the question or not yet.
I think it's more like maybe something you're giving to the players, and they now have a really good idea of what the idea of the game is, and of course your part in it.
Yeah.
And definitely for me, and I've been playing it a lot already.
Okay.
Definitely for me, this interview with you has already given me a different perspective on the game, which I think is very nice. And yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be great. They're gonna be surprised.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, then I think it's time to wrap it up. So I hope you all enjoyed this journey through the Sojourn with Nemo. We're really excited for all of you to play this game and share your thoughts. If you're interested in seeing more work by Nemo, you can follow him on Twitter, and you will see it right here in the screen. And the Sojourn is now available on PC via the Epic Game Store and on Xbox and PS4. And we hope you all enjoy it and have a great day. Bye.
Yeah, bye.